feels great. It feels like a dream. It feels like so much of what we've done at Marvel Studios just started with very few people in a room going, boy, it'd be really cool if we could do this. It'd really be cool if we could do that. But it probably could never happen. This, by far, is the pinnacle of that. And sitting down with Amy Pascal for the first time and going, what if we brought him home? What if we brought him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And every step of the way, from finding John Watts, certainly Tom Holland, who was a miracle delivered to us as the unbelievably great Peter Parker, Robert Downey joining the cast, Jon Favreau coming back. It felt incredible. And for me personally, having been at Marvel for 17 years, it started my first day. David Koepp came in for the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I met Sam Raimi for the first time, and I met Amy, and I met Lars Ziskin for the first time. And now, 17 years later, bringing him into the cinematic universe that didn't exist when we did that first movie is amazing. And it's a testament to the character of Spider-Man that there's so much left to be done with him. And I think that's another thing we wanted to prove. We really wanted to show people, you haven't seen what Spider-Man can be. Because he was never created to be a hero by himself in a city. He was created to be an unbelievably different type of hero, younger, have other responsibilities, in contrast to the Iron Man and the Thor and the Captain Americas out there. And now we get to do it. It's really important that Spider-Man do something that the other Avengers couldn't. And certainly he can climb walls and he can swing through the city and he's got amazing strength. But also, how can what seemingly is a disadvantage for him? He lives on the ground level. He doesn't live in an ivory tower. He's not from another planet. He has to go to school. He has to be home on time for his aunt. How can you turn that into an advantage? And as you see over the course of this movie, there is a villain that the Avengers are underestimating. And Peter tells them about it, and Tony calls the FBI and sends somebody else on it. But they weren't watching that, because the Avengers are looking up. They're not looking here. And Spider-Man is. In the same way we wanted Peter to be grounded, to be a real kid in the real Queens who happens to live in a world where these amazing Marvel events happen. We thought it'd be great if the villain also lived at ground level. The Vulture in the comics built his own outfit. He's a Spider-Man villain who was not created by a science experiment gone wrong. He's a villain who made himself. He's a villain who took these crazy events that happen around him, aliens falling out of the sky, Ultron robots ending up in the outskirts of European countries, and he can either let it steamroll his business and let the world pass him by and feel like he's lesser working class guy, or he can do what he believes right for his family and step up. And unfortunately for us and for the people living in that city, that's stepping into villainy and basically offering low-level villains a way to compete in this new reality with these unbelievably dangerous things. And that's what set Spider-Man on that course. And Michael Keaton playing a working-class guy, of course he can play that. Of course we knew he'd be awesome flying around in the tech suit. But we also wanted somebody who could be a real guy. And there are moments in this movie where he's much more real and much more relatable than I think people are expecting for a villain. Tony, you know, there was a lot going on in Civil War. He found himself at odds with half of the Avengers, led by Captain America, and he needed help. And clearly, at some point, this YouTube video of this person in a costume, which most people think are fake, and if you look in Homecoming when he's in class in the beginning part of the film, he's watching one of those videos, and you can look in the first comment, it says fake. But Tony knew something was going on. And he goes to see, and that scene in the bedroom in Civil War really is the heart of what we wanted to launch and continue in Homecoming. When he says, I just wanted to look out, somebody's got to look out for the little guy. Basically, while all these Avengers are flying around, dealing with very big things, who's here taking care of the little guy? And that's what Peter's always been about. That's what Peter Parker's mission basically is. And while he's encountered the Avengers, what would it be like if you were a kid who played an instrument in high school and suddenly the biggest rock musician in the whole world calls you, takes you to Europe, you actually hold your own in a big concert, and then he drops you off and you have to go back to school. That's a relatable, fun concept, even without the webs. And for us, for a great movie to be relatable and entertaining and emotional, it has to work with or without the visual effects. It has to work with or without the costumes. And I love that people call Iron Man Tony Stark. They're interchangeable. He's a real person. Peter Parker. You don't have to say Spider-Man. You say Peter Parker because they're all real people. They're real to us. And showcasing that heart and showcasing what makes them relatable is what all of the movies are about, but nobody's more relatable than Peter, because we all either went to school, are in school, are going to go to school. And that is as relatable a concept as you have set against this extraordinary cinematic universe.